start here with Frank, and I'm going to ask everybody going down the line to introduce themselves and talk about, don't fall, talk about exactly what your role is at Blizzard Entertainment for everyone who doesn't already know. Frank?
I'm Executive Vice President of Product Development and co-founder, and I'm the executive producer on StarCraft 2.
Hey guys, I'm Sam Didier. I'm the art director on StarCraft 2.
And I'm Rob Pardo. I'm the Executive Vice President of Game Design and the Design Director on StarCraft 2.
Only the best for you guys. All right, so these questions actually came out of the audience and were written down by our community people, so please give me a little bit of leeway in pronouncing your names. It has terrible handwriting, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to start off with the first question here. This is a very general one from Alice and Irvine. What is your favorite thing about StarCraft 2, and how much do you actually play?
My favorite thing about StarCraft 2 is the awesome single-player campaign, because it... What? You should have jumped at the chance to answer while there was dead time. We put a lot of heart and effort and soul into the single-player campaign and the storytelling experience there. StarCraft 2 is built on an all-new 3D engine, and we were actually able to leverage the 3D engine to deliver some non-interactive story sequences that the dev team partnered with the cinematics department to create. And there's about 45 minutes of non-interactive CG and pre-rendered footage, and some of that uses the 3D engine, and it's awesome.
I actually think, people always say the design is amazing and the production.
That's right,
value.
Sam. Say it louder.
But I think what I'd have to say, the best part of the game is the art. This is about 100,000 people. They can't be wrong.
Yeah, I heard you say the design was the best thing.
It holds up.
Rob, what about you?
I guess what I'd say, when you look back at the original StarCraft, and the thing that I think held up over all the years was the game balance. That we were able to take three completely different races and make them balance against one another, and then basically try to shake up all three races and do it all over again. And I think it holds up. So you guys should really enjoy it for the next 11 years until maybe we decide to do another one.
This next question comes from Sandy in Fountain Valley, and it's short and to the point. She asks, why 12 years?
Hey, our parent company bought Activision, and that's why our public company is called Activision Blizzard.
And really, if you want to look at it that way, we bought Activision. They didn't buy us.
That's right.
Well, on the 12-year question.
Question was why 12 years?
My turn, Frank.
Okay, go, Sam.
Never mind. No, I'm just kidding. Well, the team that's working on StarCraft now was also the team that worked on the original StarCraft. After that, we did Warcraft 3, and then the Frozen Throne, and did also a little bit of work with the WoW team, and then StarCraft. So we've been working on it, but we haven't been working on it for 12 years. Seems like it.
But if it took another 12 years to get it right, we'd hold it that long.
No! And you'd all still be here.
So we have a follow-up question to that, actually, which is
Thanks,
exactly
guys.
how long were you working on this iteration of StarCraft 2 we're going to play tonight?
Well, one concept I had done ages ago when we did this Nintendo 64, I think, StarCraft. Woo! All three of you guys out there that played it? Thank you. Awesome. There was a concept for the Stalker, so that was actually the first piece of concept art I'd done for StarCraft 2, and that was in '99. So, but that's not when we started working on it. We really started hitting it up probably around middle of 2005, 2006. That's when our whole team was really starting to focus on it.
I'm going to take this away from StarCraft for just a second and go on to BattleNet, since we have Rob up here. What was the hardest part of making BattleNet? The most challenging feature? And that question actually comes from John in Garden Grove.
Chat channel!
The hardest part, probably getting you guys to try to post in the forums with real ID.
Whoa!
But obviously we heard you guys and pulled that right back away again.
unmerciful.
So, no, like, the trickiest part with all the BattleNet stuff is just trying to, make a big premier service and trying to add all the features that we want to add for StarCraft. I think one of the hardest parts was when we look back at the original StarCraft, you look at Warcraft 3, the ladder was a very hardcore experience. It was really something that only the most hardcore players wanted to play. And with StarCraft 2, we really wanted to make the competitive play something really fun for everybody. And hopefully we did a good job with that, and we'll find out here in about, another hour and a half.
I've got a follow-up question from Roger in North Tustin on the same topic. Can you walk us through some of your favorite new improvements in BattleNet?
Well, the first one is the one I just talked about, which is really trying to do a really cool competitive ladder that's really relevant for everybody. Another one I think is be able to talk across all games, with people that you know in real life, and be able to talk to people in World of Warcraft. I think that's going to be a really cool feature for all of you that play WoW. How many people here play World of Warcraft? Yeah! So I think it's going to be really cool that all your guild leaders will know that you're playing Stark 2 when you're supposed to be on the raid tonight.
From me, what are some of the challenges that you ran into in beta testing with the ladder system, and what are some things you did to address it?
I think the toughest thing has been really trying to fine-tune all the matchmaking. It's something that we're always looking at behind the scenes, is really trying to figure out, does our matchmaking algorithms work right? And I guess one of my funniest stories was we actually had the guy that is the mathematical genius behind the matchmaking system. We're having him play a lot of games, obviously, so he can feel how the matchmaking really works in real life. And then he actually played a game, and it was a pretty humiliating game. And I think the name of the player that played him was called Deathstalker. And I got the screenshot from him that says, "Are you having fun, sucko?" So I think fine-tuning the matchmaking system was definitely something that took us some time.
But we did get the matchmaking system to a point that it worked so well that it compensated for game imbalances between the races. So everyone should have perfect 50-50 win-loss percentage, regardless of the balance.
Let's talk about races for a little bit. What were the original inspiration for the 3 races? And that is from Sam in San Diego.
Is that for me? Well, when we were working on the Terrans, we all kind of fell in love with the idea of the whole space cowboy kind of vibe. So we really pushed that a lot. So you notice that a lot of the Terrans have some kind of a southern drawl, and basically a lot of their look and feel was a little bit more beaten up looking. It wasn't as spit polished and everything. It was a bit chunkier and clunkier, and we really just wanted to make them look like all their stuff was built just for one purpose, and that was for just laying waste to enemies.
Why do you like chunky things, Sam?
I don't know, I'm just kind of into chunky stuff. You guys can check out my website, chunkystuff.com. 18 or over, please. Protoss, we all kind of know the Close Encounters of a Third Kind, little gray alien guys, right? We've seen them in X-Files and all that sort of stuff. We wanted to take that sort of basic idea and not make them little miniature wimpy intelligent guys. We wanted to make them big, gigantic, butt-kicking intelligent guys. And we just dressed them all up in gold shiny armor. They kind of look like Alliance in space, but they're still cool, right? Let's see. And the Zerg, take your classic, aliens, take your classic starship troopers and stuff like that, add some extra fangs and some wings on the Zergling for all you people out there who hated it. They're still in. And that's basically the archetype. One guy booed. I like that. I guess we did our job. But that one guy really hurt me. I think that's it.
I have a question, Frank. We can throw this one over to you. This is going to be a serialized expansion set. What is the timing that Blizzard is considering for these? When are we going to see the next expansion?
Those will be available when they're done.
They're done?
Honestly, we're busy with the launch of this game right now, so we'll take a step back maybe next week, Sam?
We'll release them next week.
No, next week we'll take a step back and figure out what features we actually want, whether the Mega, Ultra, Uberlisk.
I think Sam's on vacation next week.
Not if they want the expansion soon. No vacations.
That question came from John of Garden Grove, by the way. Let's see here. What do you find Kerrigan to be sexier as Ghost or the Queen of Blaze? That is Ethan from Marina Del Rey.
Goodness.
I actually like her as the Queen of Blades. I have a thing for green women.
I'm not into that bestiality thing. So
You guys can check out my website, greenwomen.com.
I actually think you're screwed either way with a woman that can read your mind.
Mike from Dayton, Ohio. He would like to know, do you recommend playing StarCraft 1 before playing the campaign of StarCraft 2?
Raise your hand if you haven't played StarCraft 1. Yes, you guys should play StarCraft 1 before you play StarCraft 2. All these people are going to pitch their money together to buy you copies. Honestly, you don't have to, but we recommend it.
And if you do play the original one, be a little, nice on the art. It hasn't held up as well as the design.
Thank you, Sammy.
But those 8-pixel brown smudges we call Zerglings still look pretty cool.
All right, we have a question from Lucy and David from Columbia, South Carolina. But will you guys raise your hand? Holler real loud. There you are. Those guys drove here from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm from South Carolina, by the way. All right, they want to know.
Do you know them? Do you know them?
Yeah, I think I probably do. I think we're related, actually. All right, what are the new units in StarCraft 2? Can you run through a few?
Well, I'll just go through a couple. For the Terrans, some of the new units, we got the Reaper, which is basically just this mean little cliff jumper guy who likes to jump up into your base and just cause a lot of mayhem and ruckus. Also, there's the Thor. It's a giant robot. He'll pile you into the ground. All right, everybody in their worst Arnie impression say, "For the Thor." You guys are sheep. You just do anything we say. I'm just teasing. Fantastic. Let's see. For the Protoss, we have the Stalker, which is basically the Dark Templar equivalent of the Dragoon. It's basically one of the units that we really love from the original one. We just wanted to kind of update it and give it a new 2000 and whatever year it is now, 12 years after, update to it. And then we also got the Colossus and the Immortal. Immortal's one of my favorite. Let's see. On the Zerg, everyone saw tonight how lovely the Banelings are. Banelings are good. Baneling go boom. And then what else do we have new? We also have the Corruptor, the Infestor, I can't even remember what we've called this thing. It's been named so many different times. From now on, in the next expansion, we're just going to call the stuff Zerg Unit New. And we're just going to leave it at that. But yeah, so anyways, though, those are a few of the new units that we have in StarCraft 2. There's a few more that you guys can check out, and there's also a lot of returning old Terran units and stuff in the single-player campaign. So if they're not in multiplayer, check them out in single-player. They'll be in there.
A follow-up question that from Chris of Fountain Valley. Are you planning on adding new units in the Zerg and Protoss expansion packs?
No way. No. That would take too long. You guys want the game out, right? No, of course. That's always part of the expansions.
Okay, hold on.
Right?
No,
Are we not going to add new units, Frank?
No.
I think we should talk about it, Sam.
We have one.
The Mega Uber Ultra, that thing.
Two-headed flying Ultralisk that breathes fire.
Sammy's been trying to get that unit of the game for like 15 years.
I'm still trying to get the mirror image on the Blade Master to do damage from War 3, but still not luck. One day.
One day when Sammy learns how to program.
Oh well.
Really,
Maybe
all he
not.
needs to do is edit an Excel sheet. We just need to teach him that.
He's still out.
What's Excel?
It's not a cereal. Okay, CJ from Fullerton wants to know, He says the game pace from a PvP perspective seems very fast. Is that intentional?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we learned in the original StarCraft, we made this mistake and put in this speed slider. We figured everyone's going to play at what was normal speed, which, nowadays is considered but slow. But back then, it was actually the right speed for us all in the development team. And then we found out once people started playing at BattleNet that they wanted to play at breakneck speed. And that really become kind of a hallmark of the game. If you consider all the other real-time strategy games out in the market, none of them played that fast. And people would be able to play games in 10 to 15 minutes. So certainly when we went forward to StarCraft 2, we really embraced the fact that this is really an action RTS, and there's really no other real-time strategy game that is fast-paced as StarCraft.
Here's a specific question from Chris from Fullerton. He says, on a custom game, there is no leveling of your units. Will this change?
So I'm going to assume that this is a question related to functionality that was in Warcraft 3 to support Dota. And we actually have a lot of guys on the dev team that are really passionate about Dota and custom game functionality. And so we're evaluating what kind of features we would need to add to the map editor so that we can support cool features like you would find in Dota.
Question regarding the fact that there's going to be a lot of new user-generated content from this. How did that change the way that you designed this game? What were you specifically keeping in mind, knowing that this was going to happen with BattleNet?
Well, I mean, if you go back to Warcraft 2, where we first started seeing a lot of really cool maps and mods, pretty much forever thereafter on the RTS team, on Team 1, we really want to support the user-generated content. We were constantly amazed by all the sort of maps that came out of the community. And obviously Dota is very popular, but if you look at Warcraft 3, there's been so many games that have come out of there. I mean, you look at, for example, the whole tower defense genre. And without Warcraft 3, you would never have got Plants vs. Zombies. There's so many cool games that have come out of the mod community in Warcraft 3. So when we started StarCraft 2, like half our discussion was about the actual game of StarCraft 2, and the other half was really about the map editor and what kinds of support do we want to provide for people once the game's out and the editor is online. So I would say that StarCraft 2 is by far our most powerful editor that we've done yet.
Yes! Yeah, I mean, when you look at Warcraft 3 and the popularity of Dota, it's almost like Warcraft 3 has become a platform for these other types of games, and we definitely want StarCraft 2 to be a similar platform for user-generated content, and so that's where the marketplace comes into play too, because it was actually not very easy to get your maps distributed if you were a map maker or were interested in custom games for Warcraft 3. So we definitely want to integrate the experience of distributing that user-generated content into BattleNet as well.
I have a question from George in Irvine, and he said that every time that a development team launches a game, they personally feel that one thing that their game has done has moved forward game development. What is that thing for you with StarCraft 2? What do you feel StarCraft 2 has done to move forward game development? What is the one thing that you've done best with StarCraft 2 that other people haven't done yet?
We've made the best RTS ever. Thank you. Good night. I'll see you guys.
All right, I'm going to put it out there and say that we have done the best story-based strategy game ever. We've kind of, I think, we're going to prove that you can actually take a cinematic, very deep, compelling storyline and put it into a small, little, isometric, goofy strategy game and compel you just as much as a role-playing game.
Right, is there anything that sticks out of your mind?
Rob took mine.
That works. A question for Sam from Azriel from Yorba Linda. What is your favorite character to sketch?
I like sketching. I think the Zerg are probably the best just because you can almost do anything you want with them. You could take a basic shape or a basic animal form and add spikes and teeth and fangs and wings on a Zergling and basically come up with a cool looking Zerg unit. So they're probably the most easiest to sketch and also the most creatively fun.
And we'll go down the line. All of you can answer this. What is your favorite unit and why? This is Matt from Fountain Valley.
My favorite unit is the Terran Marine because I'm a really simple-minded strategy player.
I kind of already covered this. The Thor For the Thor, come on! Yeah. Get to the bunker! Yeah.
I don't know. I guess in StarCraft 2, my favorite unit is probably the Colossus. Yeah. Look at that. Let's hear it for
It's
the
not a
Colossus.
competition. And do a cool tagline with them. Go ahead.
It's kind of that classic War of the Worlds, beat up the universe sort of unit. So that's what I'm going.
Except our tripods have 4 legs. Take it. Yeah.
You mean quad pods?
Nope, they're tripods with 4 legs. That's one more than every other tripod.
This is a general question, but one that I'm sure a lot of people in the audience have. This is Adam from New Philadelphia. Is there such a place? Anyway, he wants to
Hold on, we
know.
weren't listening to the question. What was it?
I haven't asked it yet.
Okay, go proceed.
Okay, all right. What path do you recommend future game developers take if you want to get a job at Blizzard?
I always tell people to make sure you're pursuing your passion. So to work in game development, we have artists, we have game designers, we have lore designers, system designers, programmers, project managers. If you can't do one of those things, then game development's not for you. But it's true, Rob. One of the things that's really important, though, is a demonstration of your passion through how you spend your hobby time. And so there's actually lots of platforms out there that make it really easy for you to explore your passion for making games. And so my recommendation would be to encourage you to explore your passion through making games in your hobby time.
I would say if you guys are looking to get a job, art-wise at Blizzard, if you're targeting a kind of a specific team, know the project, know the games. We definitely want to see a lot of your art, but also throw in a couple samples. Like if you're into the, StarCraft or Diablo, do a couple pictures of some Marines Reserves or, Diablo or some of the other creatures that are there. We want to see that, there's not a lot of training that goes, this guy knows how to do Diablo style art. Awesome. Let's get this guy in here and give him an art test. Let's get this guy in here and talk to him. It'd be a lot better to have that than, someone who's showing still lifes from school or some funky mosaic stuff. That stuff is cool, but we're a game company. We want to see cool, geeky game stuff. So any of that kind of stuff would just help you along the way to get a job at Blizzard art-wise.
And the number one thing on game design, it really just expands on Frank's answer, but if you're going to be a game designer, you're going to be a game designer whether or not Blizzard hires you or not. So you should be designing games, and if you're a really good game designer and you really enjoy doing it, then we'll be proud to have you.
All right, here's a question. Tomorrow morning, you're going to be going to work, and there's going to be millions of people playing StarCraft 2. In a couple months, you're going to have millions of more people coming back to playing Cataclysm. What does this mean for the day-to-day of Blizzard? How are you guys preparing for this influx of new players that are going to be coming on board?
I'm going to take the next 6 months off.
That's a great idea.
When you're taking the step back?
Yeah, a big step back. No. For us, we put so much time and effort and energy into the games that we're making, partly because we're passionate about the games because we want to play them, but we're also really passionate about getting these experiences into the hands of our fans and our community. And so, for me, as it relates to StarCraft 2, I'm just really excited to see what the fans think of the experience that we've delivered with StarCraft 2 because it's been a long time coming. And the same is true for Cataclysm, right? I mean, we're doing a revamp of, the entire old world. It's going to be badass, and I'm going to want to experience it again, and I want to know what everyone else thinks when they experience it again.
I'm just going to be working on Heart of the Swarm for you guys. They're going to be goofing around. Not Pardo, Frank, though.
I was going to say, I don't think so. One of the biggest things for us is, it's like we're really excited about releasing our games to all kinds of new fans, but all of us we're already on to the next thing. Once we finish a game, it's usually a couple months before we actually get to come out to Fry's and see all you guys. So all of us are already working on other stuff. Sammy's already working hard in the Swarm, and I'm already working on the next MMO that you guys won't even hear about for years to come.
Not even a little bit tonight?
A little bit.
All right. Is there anything you can tell us about the story in the next expansion that's coming up that you feel comfortable sharing, or is it still all Nick's for now?
No.
Okay, that's all I had to try, right? Okay, let's see here. How many people out here in the audience are planning on making custom content? I'm just curious. All right, that's a pretty good percentage of you. Does the map editor actually ship with the game, or is that something that we're releasing later? I hate to
No,
ask that.
comes in the box.
Comes in the
Yeah,
box.
You guys
Wow.
can start making maps.
I'm sorry. I should have known that before I came up here.
This is a family establishment, Sam.
who said it.
Have you guys been playing around with it at all? Have you just in your spare time? Sorry again. Have you been working with a map editor? Working with a map editor in your spare time? Should I just move on to the next question?
Moving on.
All right, I'll take that offline. Let's see. We have, let's see what we have here. It's on the list I can grab before I go off list. Make sure I got everything. They want to know when Diablo 3 is coming out and if Kim will marry him. That's Will from Huntington Beach. But anything to Diablo 3, Frank, that you want to mention before we move on?
When it's done.
That's a good answer.
Sometime next week. Just.
Josh from Costa Mesa asked, how can I get infinite Yamato canyons?
You said canyons?
Cannons. He said cannons.
Just checking.
I was still on the first question.
It's simple. Build infinite battle cruisers. Duh. Simple.
When will battle cruisers be more like Vikings?
As soon as they transform, that's going to be coming in the next patch in a few days. Just stick around.
All right.
This is easy. Let's go. What else we got?
Okay, so we just got through an extensive beta testing period. What were some of the more challenging balance issues that you ran into? I think for the first few weeks when it first came out, what were some of the more challenging balance issues?
I mean, probably the biggest challenge with game balance in general, especially during a beta, is that you just don't have a lot of time in between each patch. So what will happen is, you'll have kind of these units of the moment where people will just be playing the same unit, like roaches at one point were extremely powerful, but at the same time what will happen is that it may not actually be that powerful unit, or what particular race might not be powerful. It's just people haven't really developed enough time to try the alternate strategies, because in the beta people just kind of want to bandwagon onto the best strategy. So that's probably the thing that's most difficult, and a lot of time just managing the beta through game balance is one of the biggest challenges. So a lot of time what will happen during the beta is we might actually have to do these kind of big pendulum swings where we might have to overbalance the counter unit temporarily just to get people to adopt the new unit, so that we can really see if the previous unit was actually balanced or unbalanced or not.
Does that sound good?
Good job, Pardo.
Y'all should keep him on board. He knows what he's talking about.
You're good.
The cinematics play a really big role in this game. What was it like working with the cinematics team? Like, how do you actually plan out one of these cutscenes? What is the process like?
I was going to answer, and you started telling me. Okay, what was it? No, our team, the StarCraft team and Cinematics, we work really close together, and a lot of our guys, the story guys on our team, we work with cinematics, and we come up with a lot of different ideas for the various in-game cinematics, the pre-rendered cinematics, and there's also the benefit that we've all worked together. A lot of the cinematics guys were also on the original StarCraft, so we all know how to kind of, some of the things that people are really into and want to do, and we'll think about that when we're writing the story or working on the art. And the same sort of thing goes with them. They know the kind of things that we as the interior gameplay guys, our limitations on the way the art looks. So they kind of take the in-game units and kind of buff them up a little bit, make them a little bit prettier for the cinematics. But it's kind of nice because you have a lot of guys on the different teams that are all fans of StarCraft, and everyone kind of throws in their ideas. And at the end, we got this nice creative gumbo of ideas to choose from. That was good, huh? I was going to go with jambalaya, but I don't know if people know jambalaya as much. But
I think one of the the coolest things about StarCraft 2 and the Cinematics department is that we actually kind of brought the Cinematics department into the development process. I mean, one of the things that's kind of happened previous to StarCraft 2 is the Cinematics group just did the beautiful pre-rendered cinematics, but they really weren't that involved in the ongoing storyline of the actual product. And this product, for the first time, we actually brought the Cinematics department really over in the development team and worked with them directly on developing cinematic storylines that integrated right into the missions themselves. And I think that's one of the things that's going to be the most compelling about the single-player campaign is kind of taking, kind of all that awesome storytelling that the Cinematics group does and take it into the actual gameplay of the single player and integrating into the game. So I think I hope you guys are really excited with the results.
All right, I know it's getting a little chilly up here on stage. It's got to be a little chilly out there, is it? Yeah. I want everyone to do a couple jumping jacks in place. Jump up and down. No. You got to get warm.
Yeah.
Get moving. Get your blood going. I'm worried about you out there. I would never worry about you.
Oh, that was a dick.
I'm kidding.
We got to work with her.
All right, John wants to know, what was the thing you were most surprised about by observing the beta process? The people that were playing in the beta. Is there anything that shocked you, strategies, or?
No, it's bored.
It was a pretty mild beta.
Pretty mild beta?
Honestly, we had literally hundreds of thousands of people that participated in the beta, which is a huge number of participants, and I was most surprised by the number of people that wanted to participate.
Did they open it up to it? Did we end up being able to open up to everyone who wanted to participate, or we just had
No, it was a closed beta the whole time, yeah.
That's amazing. 100,000 people, you said?
I don't know. Bob, what's the number? Where'd Bob go?
That's okay.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. All right, setting up the story coming into this, there is a novel that came out, Heaven's Devils. I don't know how many people have read it, but is there any story points that you can pull out of that leading up to this that we should share with everybody? A couple of plot points?
No.
No? All right. Easy enough.
We don't want to spoil it.
So buy the book, check it out.
All right, but there is a great book that's out that leads up to the story of StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
There's no problem. I guess I'll just open it up to what is the most memorable memories that you have on the game? Each of you have do very different things and will be very parts of the team. What were some of the most memorable parts of this process?
When I was reviewing the collector's edition DVD, there's a section of the DVD that just strings together all the storyline cinematics from the campaign so that you can see the whole story in one shot. And by the way, if you buy the collector's edition and you don't want to know what happens, don't watch that DVD until you've played the campaign.
There's a good tip.
Because there's a lot of spoilers in there. But as I was watching that, I was amazed because I lost track of which sequences were the high quality CG sequences that were pre-rendered and which sequences were done with the 3D engine real time. Because it's so well done and so amazing, I just couldn't tell the difference.
What's your favorite memory, Sam?
Well, this is just one of them, but just recently, within the last few days, we had released sort of a little cinematic trailer that showed a collage of all the different sort of scenes, and it was actually like watching a movie trailer. And I was watching that, and I just go, holy crap, I want to play this game. And then I go, wait a minute, I've been playing this game for like 12 years, right? That's how long we've been doing it? 12, 13 years, whatever. But I remember just watching that the other day going, oh my God, this game's just going to be awesome.
I think one of the things that's most memorable when you work on like a sequel to a game that was really, really good, because a lot of us played the original StarCraft for years and years after it came out. We'd still go up in the BattleNet and occasionally play 3-on-3 games or things like that. And I think that there's this point that happens when you're working on a sequel that you start playing, it's gotten so good and so polished that then when you try to go back and play the original game, you just can't do it anymore because you're missing so many things from the new game.
By the way, Sam, I watched that trailer. I didn't think I want to play this game. I thought, I want to see that movie.
That's a really good question. Are we going to ever see? Oh, but it will be. Watch this, how I turn it around. Is there ever going to be a StarCraft 2 movie? Do you see any long-form fiction from this?
That would be awesome. I would say that the StarCraft universe is definitely badass enough to make a movie with.
Would you guys buy tickets? I guess we'll do it.
Who would you want to
Sam's
direct?
committed to
Right,
an
it's
awful
coming out
lot
next
this
week,
evening.
yeah.
Sam, you're going to be really busy next week.
I like to give. I like to give. I never take, I just give.
If there was going to be a StarCraft 2 movie, who would you want to direct it?
Direct the StarCraft movie?
If you could pick any director in the world.
Actually, let's hear some names.
Sam Didier.
Answer all at once, that's good, yeah? Yeah, this guy said James Cameron, that's good. Who else?
Christopher Nolan. I vote Christopher Nolan.
Okay. Sounds good, we'll get them all. No problem. Frank, make it so.
Get on that next week, Sam.
Handle it.
Who's your favorite character in the StarCraft 2 lore storyline and why? Well, you don't have to say why, but it might be more informative if you told us why.
I think I like Tychus Findlay, just because he's everything that a Terran Marine should be. He's gritty and vulgar and drinks and smokes and boozes it up. He's like good heavy metal, you know? Loud, obnoxious, violent. Based off me, no, I'm not that tough.
Go ahead, Rob. You're right.
Oh, do we? All right. No, I mean, I think that, the most iconic character, at least in the StarCraft universe, has got to be Kerrigan. So, she's just a very interesting, tragic character that is still trying to kind of take control of her new life and figure out where she sits in the universe. So I think it's really interesting when you have a villain that's that powerful.